What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I am bringing you a deck that was requested by FrostEm, and that is an expanded deck centered, well, basically it's an expanded idea of the Maxie's Darkrai deck with updated cards from Guardians Rising. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton and lets us do more cool stuff for you guys. And as for the question of the day, I alluded to it a little bit in the last video, but I decided that I would save it until this one, and that is, who has the best hair in Pokemon? Now, that can be literally anybody. And let's be real, Pokemon almost rivals Yu-Gi-Oh! In terms of crazy hair. I said rivals, not beats, rivals. And even just in this deck, there are some pretty crazy hair. I mean, you got N right there, you got Lysandre, who was originally my pick for craziest hair, but I've since learned otherwise. You've Ghetsis with that, and then even some of the Pokemon. I mean, I know this is technically not hair, but you got Yveltal's main Darkrai with whatever this flowing thing is, Keldeo with just the gloriousness that is its main, and there's just a ton of great hair in Pokemon. And I know I initially said Lysandre, but I decided to look into it a little bit, just figure out, okay, I want to have an informed opinion, I want to make it count, I want to make it accurate, and I actually discovered that Lysandre does not have the craziest hair in Pokemon. Now, first of all, I completely forgot about Iris. Iris's hair is ridiculous. I mean, that thing is almost as big as she is. Just, like, I don't even know how to describe it. So Iris has really crazy hair. Then I remembered the Sun and Moon antagonist. Okay, I'm going to butcher the ever-living crap out of this name because I don't know how to say it. Okay, one question of the day. How do you pronounce the antagonist from Sun and Moon? Leave that in the comment section down below, because honestly I have no idea. The way I have been pronouncing it when in like my inner dialogue when I'm playing through the game by like thinking out the words, it's Lusamine. That's how I've been saying it, but maybe let's Lusamine, I don't even know how to say it, Lusamine. But anyway, anybody that knows how to actually pronounce that, please let me know in the comment section down below so I can be correct. But her hair is absolutely crazy as well, but again, not the best hair in Pokemon. The best hair in all of Pokemon has to be Mega Ampharos. I mean, Amphibio, just the gloriousness. I mean, it looks like Mega Ampharos should be in a Pantene commercial. I mean, just straight up, it just flows so beautifully. I mean, even the animation with it is ridiculous. So, yeah, Mega Ampharos, in my opinion, has the best hair in Pokemon. Who do you guys think has the best hair in Pokemon? Leave that in the comment section down below. Love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. But anyway, on to the deck. Like I said, this is a Guardians Rising updated version of Maxie's Darkrai. The overall theme of this deck and overall idea of this deck is the same as, I believe I did it a little while ago. But I've updated it with, obviously, cards from Guardians Rising and one from Sun and Moon. I bet you can't tell which one that is. But the whole strategy is the same. Running Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick to get out one of two fighting types, whether that's Archeops with the Ancient Power ability against Evolution decks, or just in general, Gallade with Premonition and Sensitive Blade being able to hit very, very hard for a DCE, hit for fighting weakness. Cover all of the bases, really, just with having a dark type attacker and then a fighting type attacker, that type of thing. So really just the whole strategy, Maxie's with those two, and then Darkrai-EX with Night Spear sniping for 90 and 30. Just try to cover as many threats in the metagame as possible, and those guys do a pretty darn good job of that, with Darkrai taking care of Night March and Expanded, Gallade taking care of decks that hit a little bit harder. Well, decks that Darkrai just can't quite keep up with, Gallade can hit while being a one-prize attacker, and Archeops takes out a lot of evolution decks if you're able to get that up immediately. And yeah, that's basically the whole strategy. I'll go through each Pokemon one by one to tell you guys what type of strategy is involved and whether or not I decided to update him. Now, the original list did have Shaymin, obviously, because Shaymin is ridiculously powerful with setup. Tauros was one of the additions that I threw in here, and I actually had a Sun and Moon list that did I do that? I don't even remember if I did. But either way, I had Tauros from Sun and Moon is in there for the combination with Ninja Boy. If a Darkrai gets damaged pretty heavily, you can just Ninja Boy into a Tauros to be able to Mad Bull GX for just a gigantic knockout. That way, Tauros gives us a GX attack and also a pretty cool combination with Ninja Boy. Darkrai-EX, we have 2 of those as the main attacker. Dark Cloak gives everything that has a Darkness Energy free retreat, which is actually pretty crucial in this deck and very nice in a lot of situations. And then Night Spear in itself can really just destroy Night March with knocking out the active and knocking out Joltik on the bench. We have 1 Sableye for the junk hunt, just be able to throw up a 1 prize type of Pokemon, just be like, okay, I want to get back an item, I want to get set up a little bit better. Sableye is amazing for that. 2, Yveltal-EX. Now, if you want to, you can add another Darkrai for another Yveltal, but Yveltal is really our big attacker of this deck, being able to Evil Ball for massive amounts of damage. Yveltal is the consistent need to swing for a ton of damage Pokemon that you use in this deck, so that's why we were running 2 of those. 1-2 of Archeops and Gallade, and I threw another fighting Pokemon in here because this deck does struggle a little bit with things like, I mean, Volcanion can cause this deck some problems, Mega Rayquaza can cause this deck some problems, so Sudowoodo is in there to limit our opponent's bench space, just kind of be another fighting Pokemon. I saw that and I was like, you know what, this actually fits perfectly in this deck. Roadblock means your opponent only has 4 bench spaces, which really shuts down Mega Rayquaza. It very severely hinders Volcanion EX, and actually, I mean, this is really just a deck that is teched out to try to take on every possible bring of our opponents. Sudowoodo is another fighting Pokemon that allows us to help out in a ton of matchups, and even not necessarily in those matchups, just limiting our opponent to 4 bench spaces can be very crucial. Obviously, Tapu Lele is going to be in this list from Guardians Rising. Just Wonder Tag and Energy Drive, especially with Ninja Boy, you can continually reuse Tapu Lele. If our opponent has like a lightning Pokemon that Yveltal can't take out, but we need to swing for a ton of damage, Energy Drive with Lele can swing for that amount. I mean, just a phenomenal card that 1000% was going to be in this deck. 1 Keldeo for the Russian and Retreat, just get out of things like Paralysis, Sleep, anything like that. Archeops, one thing this deck could have a little bit of trouble with is Excelgor Wobbuffet, but Archeops with Ancient Power can help that. I mean, Wobbuffet is obviously a problem for this deck, so you have to be kind of careful about how you play that. But yeah, that's one of the decks that can cause this deck some problems in Expanded. But Keldeo can remedy that if you're able to like Lysandre in something on the bench and then get the Russian in for Retreat. 3, Battle Compressor, just to get Darkness Energy in the discard pile for Dark Patch, be able to throw Archeops, Gallade, and Maxie's into the discard pile in order to be able to Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick. Just, the discard pile is a resource, bigger resource than usual in this deck, so Battle Compressor lets us set up our discard pile in ways that we want. 1 Computer Search allows you to get that 1 puzzle piece you need in order to pull off the Maxie's early game. 4 Battle Compressor. I literally pull up Dark Patch, I think Dark Patch, but I say Battle Compressor. 4 Dark Patch just because, I mean, be able to attach energy from the discard pile without using our manual attachment for the turn lets us power up Darkrai, Yveltal. I mean, really it allows us to get off heavy hits with Evil Ball and Night Spear in 1 turn, which is phenomenal. 3 Trainer's Mail help us set up a little bit more with 3 Trainer's Mail allow us to set up to get in a position where we can Maxie's. 4 Ultra Ball Guaranteed gets us what we want when we want, and also discards cards so that our hand can get down to 1 so that we're able to use Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick. 4 VS Seeker let us reuse all of our supporters, and then as for these supporters, straight up draw support, we have 3-2 of N and Sycamore, just because, I mean, you're going to only Maxie's really once, maybe twice in a game, so you want to have good draw support otherwise. I know that these lines might be a little bit heavy for these cards, maybe drop 1 Sycamore for a Lysandre or 1 N for another Lysandre, but I don't know, I was pretty comfortable with this list and with these numbers, and I like these numbers, so I just kind of went with it. 2 Maxies so that we're not susceptible to having a Maxie's prized when we're actually in a situation where we can pull this off. 1 Ninja Boy for the combination with like Tauros, Tapu Lele, Yveltal, that type of thing. 1 Lysandre just because Lysandre is Lysandre and it's amazing. Hex Maniac shuts off abilities. Gotta be kind of careful about how you use that because shutting off abilities into your opponent's turn also shuts off Ancient Power and Roadblock, so you have to be careful about how you play Hex Maniac, but in some situations it can be devastating, so that's why it is in this list, and also it allows us to use items as well against like Vileplume and stuff like that. One, Ghetsis, because Ghetsis can also be devastating early game. I mean, normally you want to try to Maxie's first turn, but if you can Ghetsis your opponent out of items, not even necessarily first turn, but just at any point, getting rid of all the items in their hand and shuffling them back into their deck can set them back to the point where they just can't recover. So Ghetsis, very, very, very strong card in this deck. As for the items, one Choice Band just to boost damage output. I only have one because I prefer running Fighting Fury Belt, because Fighting Fury Belt gives longevity to our attackers, all except Gallade, while Choice Band is just like, well, I like Fighting Fury Belt, but I really just want 20 extra damage that Fighting Fury Belt can't provide. Choice Band's like, I got you, I'm going to give you 30 extra damage, so that's why Choice Band is in there along with Fighting Fury Belt. 2 Float Stone just give free retreat. I mean, I know Keldeo with Dark Cloak can rush in and retreat with simply a Darkness Energy. However, attaching a Float Stone to like an Archeops or whatever means that we can just retreat them out without having to rely on attaching a Darkness Energy or Keldeo or something like that. 4 DCE absolute max number because all of our attackers use it, even Darkrai to a lesser extent, although you really don't want to have to attach a DCE to Darkrai. You can if you have to. And then 7 Darkness Energy, just because that's what our main attackers really rely on. So yeah, that is the deck, and let's go ahead and see it in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Zenu Yin with, honestly, I mean, kind of looks like a Team Plasma deck, but I have no idea. We do win the coin flip, so we will get to go first, because, I mean, that's really nice. Yeah, I wonder what my opponent is running. Boy. We see Crushing Hammer, so I'm hashtag triggered. That was fast. But unfortunately, we do mulligan. I mean, I really didn't see what my opponent was running based on that, so I really have no idea just based on that. Start off with things that aren't supporters. So, yeah, this could be interesting. This is a bad start. But, I mean, maybe... Okay, we get a Ghetsis and we're up against a Thundurus and Jinx. What the heck? So I'm going to go ahead and Ghetsis. I get 2 cards off of that. That's not the end of the world, and especially not with this. So I'm going to go ahead and Computer Search. Do I want to? Because, I mean, like, okay, if I Computer Search next turn, I will 100% be able to pull off a Maxie's. But, I mean, then again, my opponent could end me, so I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and Computer Search for Battle Compressor just to throw Archeops, Gallade, and probably Maxie's in the discard pile. Just get that set up for next turn. Wait, I forgot to put in a Darkness Energy for Dark Patch. I'm dumb. Oh well. I am just going to attach to Sableye and end my turn right there. Darn it. I forgot to do that. Oh well. I have a Lele for something next turn anyway, so he's just going to go ahead and Raid Knuckle, hit me for 30 damage. I mean, I did have Lele for... okay, let's go ahead and do that. And unfortunately, I don't get something that allows me to... get a Maxie's, but, I mean, my misplay with the Dark Patch wouldn't have let me do that anyway. So I get... Well... Ultra Ball, get rid of Hex Maniac and N. I mean, this hand is conducive to a Maxie's next turn. Do I want to grab Shaymin or Lele? Yeah, there is a Maxie's left in there. So, let's actually grab a Lele. Because, again, if I get something that I can work with next turn, I can potentially... Yeah, I can potentially play that out. And then, you know what? Screw it. Let's go ahead and Sudowoodo. Keep my opponent from being able to use all of their bench spaces. Grab... well, let's Junk Hunt with Sableye, grab Computer Search. Do I want to? Yeah, you know what? Let's grab Computer Search and Battle Compressor. Is that the play? Yeah. Let's go ahead and Computer Search and Battle Compressor. Wait, no, I can't play Lele to Maxie's. I'm dumb. This is what happens when you don't play a type of deck for a while, guys. You run out of... You just lose your mind. We see a Chorus, so my opponent top decked a Supporter. Not good. And you even see the lightning energy, or the special lightning energy that means he doesn't have weakness. No, I wanted to be able to one-shot you with Gallade. Dang it. Raid Knuckle does hit my Sableye. Let's go ahead and Battle Compressor. Probably get rid of a couple Darkness, I would think. A couple Darkness and Ninja Boy, just so I can have that available to me later if I want to. Let's Computer Search. Get rid of the Lele and the Yveltal. Unfortunately, I had to play the DCE onto my Lele this turn. I would have liked to play it on the Gallade, but it just didn't work out. So now let's Maxie's. Grab the Gallade. And I grabbed Maxie's instead of a VS Seeker. That way I can VS Seeker for better stuff later. Let's Trainer's Mail. Ooh, grab a Dark Patch. That's nice. So I can start powering up Darkrai as well. I want to get a DCE for my Gallade. Let's go ahead and Premonition. Is there one? There is not. So let's grab... What do I want to grab first? See, is there another Darkness in the discard pile? Yes, there is. So let's grab the Dark Patch first, because I mean, this stuff I'm gonna draw into off the Sycamore anyway, so it's just a matter of what I want to draw when. Let's go ahead and do that. Grab the Dark Patch. And then let's go ahead and just Junk Hunt, I guess. Grab a Battle Compressor and a Dark Patch, I think. I mean, I could have grabbed... Yeah, I think Battle Compressor and the Dark Patch is the way to go. I mean, I could have grabbed Computer Search. But then... Actually, you know what? I should have just grabbed 2 Dark Patches, because Sableye is going to get knocked out this turn anyway. And I mean, I am top decking a Dark Patch, so I mean, it's just kind of overkill on the Darkrai. I don't know. It was kind of iffy as to what I wanted to do there. Honestly, hindsight 2020, 100% should have grabbed the Dark Patch, but probably should have just grabbed the Computer Search instead of the Battle Compressor. I mean, Battle Compressor does thin out my deck, but I mean, come on, Computer Search is Computer Search, and I'm going to be discarding a bunch of these cards anyway. So yeah, Computer Search was 100% the way I should have gone right there. But otherwise, it's not too huge of a deal overall. He will be able to knock out my Sableye this turn. Luckily, he hasn't gotten much of anything else down, which... I'll be honest, I don't understand what my opponent is playing. Crushing Hammer, triggered. Okay, gets Tails, slightly less triggered. Still triggered that there's Crushing Hammer, but slightly less triggered because he missed it. Yeah, he will be able to take a prize off the Sableye, and this is, unfortunately, this is a very uncharacteristically slow start for this deck. I mean, I don't know, I loaded up my bench. I mean, okay, I'm not saying that, like, it was a slow start because because I drew wrong. No, I've been misplaying quite a bit. I mean, I could have gotten it a lot faster if I had just been a little more patient, but I was a little bit too gung-ho. I didn't necessarily sit on my good stuff. And there we see the double Dark Patch. I'm going to get onto Darkrai. So yeah, Battle Compressor is essentially worthless right here. It's Battle Compressor. I guess just get rid of another one. Let's just get rid of both of those, actually, because I really don't need them for the rest of the game. And then... Or do I want to get rid of Ultra Ball? No, let's just get rid of the Battle Compressors and N. I really don't need them anymore. So... let's go ahead and VS Seeker for a Sycamore. Unfortunately, I can't even do any cool plays with Tauros because, I mean, my Tauros is very obviously prized. Get the DCE, so that's nice. Let's Fighting Fury Belt up the Darkrai. Save the males for later, actually. And then retreat into my Gallade. I'll be able to Premonition. Yeah, I wanted to save my Trainer's Mail for later. Premonition. Ooh, Choice Band. Yes, sir. VS Seeker... Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that the Choice Band is on top. That way I can power up either Lele or Gallade. I mean, he's not going to be able to knock out Gallade this turn. So let's go ahead and hit the Thunderous for 130 damage. Really wish I would have been able to get the knockout. But that stupid Special Lightning is super annoying. So he's going to play down... Oh, he even plays down a Tapu Koko. He can knock me out with Tapu Thunder if he wants, but I really think that's kind of a... That's not the ideal play. Because, I mean, then you waste your GX attack on a EX Pokemon, which, I mean, if you waste your GX attack to only get one prize and it doesn't put you in a significantly advantageous position, in my opinion, it's a waste of a GX attack. So he is going to go ahead and grab the N. Is he going to play it? Because the fact that I have a slow start is actually working in my favor right now, because it allows me to get extra cards off of this N. There is Darkrai. So, okay, 2 VS Seekers already used. Enhanced Hammer triggered. Everything triggers me nowadays, guys. It's okay. But, yeah, so, I mean, my opponent can knock me out with Tapu Thunder if he wants, but if he Tapu Thunders on a Gallade, I mean, I consider that a win for myself. Just because, I mean, hey, that's a wasted GX attack on a non-EX or GX Pokemon. So right now I'm actually in a good spot. He will be able to Sky High Claws my Gallade and hit it for 130, not quite able to get the knockout. But we do see another Jinx come up, which is annoying. Man, those Jinx are actually causing a little bit of problems. Let's Trainer's Mail, let's grab that VS Seeker, because I want to have that available to me for next turn for a Lysandre, because right now what I think the play is, hit the Tapu Koko for 160 damage. Actually, no, I need... Ah, crap. So I need to VS Seeker, or I need to play a... supporter, that way I can have the... that way I can Sensitive Blade for enough damage. But yeah, by Hex Maniacing, I'm keeping his Tapu Koko from being able to be healed by the Jinx. So right now the play... Hex Maniac, shut those things off. Hit this Tapu Koko for 160 damage. If he retreats out into his... well, actually, if he just knocks me out, then I VS Seeker for a Lysandre, bring up the Thundurus, and then Night Spear the Thundurus, and then Night Spear Snipe the Tapu Koko for 4 prizes. 2 knockouts and 4 prizes, and then at that point, I think Darkrai will just plow through him because he doesn't have... Yeah, he doesn't have anything apart from the Thundurus and the Tapu Koko. So as soon as I get rid of both of those... I mean, as soon as I get rid of both of those, yeah, he has absolutely nothing. Like, his Jinx are just kind of sitting there. They're not doing much of anything. And, I mean, for not being a deck that I've ever seen before, my opponent's deck is actually giving me a little bit of trouble. Yeah, I mean, it's actually annoying. And okay, I'm not saying, like, annoying as... I'm not trying to say that as, like, a bad thing. But it's, like, it's annoying to go up against, because it's just like, let me kill you. Like, the things that you're doing, they're actually really causing me a lot of problems, so stop doing those. Just let me beat you, because, I mean, everybody knows that, like, that's the way you do it. Just let your opponent beat you. That's how you win the game. I am going to go ahead and play down a second Darkrai. And then I think actually start powering that thing up, because I do have a Dark Patch, and I should have a Darkness Energy in my prizes that I can draw into. So I will potentially have a second... I will be able to power up a second Darkrai. So yeah, right here I'm going to be able to get 4 prizes. Yeah, there's the Darkness, like I said. And then I'll get 2 more, so... I mean, yeah, at this point I do have the ability to power up my Darkrai completely, because I know that there's a Dark Patch in the deck. I have a DCE that I can play onto my Tapu Lele to be able to attack with it in emergencies if I need to. He actually just discards an energy off my active. Okay. So what I am going to do is go ahead and Dark Patch onto the Darkrai, play the DCE onto the active, and this is why, because if my opponent gets rid of my... Okay, so if my opponent somehow managed to knock out the Darkrai and I had 3 Darkness on it, I would have no way of powering up the other Darkrai on the bench, because, I mean, all I would be left with is just a DCE in my hand. So, I mean, Darkrai would not be able... My second Darkrai would not be able to attack, meaning that I would have to rely on Lele hitting for just 40 damage over and over to try to win the game. So yeah, playing the DCE, it is more easily discarded, but this way I conserve the ability to attach energy onto my benched Darkrai. Or to attack with my benched Darkrai through that. And yeah, my opponent just attaches and passes. I mean, that's all he could do. I am just going to be able to knock out this Jinx with a Night Spear and win the game. And Darkrai is able to come through. I mean, that was a slow and steady match that my opponent's deck annoyed the ever-living crap out of me. But, I mean, like, I mean that in a positive way. Like, it was an unconventional deck that caused me quite a few problems. But still, Darkrai was able to pull through in the end. Gallade able to do just enough, and Night Spear sniping the bench, still as good as ever. So, yeah, that was a decent first game. Let's go ahead and try to find another one with this deck. Alrighty, we have found another one against Fabriquizes. I have no idea how to say that. But we do win the coin flip, so we will get to go first. That is always nice. And I'm kind of interested to see what my opponent is running in. Well, we mulligan again. We start off with... Oh boy. We're up against Night March. This hand is actually not bad. Because what I can do, Ultra Ball, get rid of a... So I can Ultra Ball, get rid of the... Can I pull this off? No. Wait, I could. No, I can't. Dang it. I was thinking, oh, maybe I could pull off a first turn Maxie's, but no, just... I would need to discard too many things from Ultra Ball. Let's Ultra Ball, get rid of the Ninja Boy and the Darkness Energy. Grab a Darkrai, because Darkrai is going to be my way of beating Night March. Just plain and simple. Darkrai can beat Night March. Like, if I can get it set up and start attacking turn 2, then I have absolutely nothing to worry about. So let's go ahead and play the Darkness onto Keldeo. That way I have Rush Treat, or a Free Retreat, just in case I don't draw into a Float Stone. And then let's Battle Compressor, get rid of Archeops, Gallade, and Maxie's. Yeah, I mean, I could have gotten rid of a Darkness Energy, but that's not too huge of a deal overall. And then let's Sycamore. Probably should have gotten rid of another Darkness Energy. Let's play the Sudowoodo, leave my opponent with only 4 bench spaces. And I do draw into the Float Stone, so I could have just attached it to the Darkrai. So a little bit of a bummer right there. What I am going to actually do is retreat into my other Darkrai, let that take a hit this turn, just because if I have one Darkrai that I can just kind of go all in with, I can get 4 prizes off of one Darkrai. My opponent shouldn't be able to get... Yeah, my opponent should not be able to get a knockout on my Darkrai this turn, because that would require having 9 Night Marchers in the discard pile. And, I mean, while that's definitely possible, I'm really, really hoping that he does not have that, because that would just make me very sad if he was able to pull that off. Luckily, it looks like my opponent has to use their supporter immediately, because one of the most dangerous things about Night March is that they can draw into a bunch of cards without using their supporter by just Ultra Balling for Shaymin over and over. And then, like, they don't usually go for their supporter until they've already gone through, like, 20 cards. So we actually see him get rid of a DCE as well. There's the Carbink? Okay, I legitimately have no idea. Like, I'm confused as to why there's a Carbink in a Night March deck. I mean, it could be to slow down, maybe? I am very confused as to why there's a Carbink there in front of me. My opponent does just hit me for 120. That is fine. Ooh, I can actually pull off a Maxie's this turn. So let's go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Darkness and the Sycamore to grab, I think, nothing. Yeah, because there's a Maxie's right there. Tauros is in the deck, so that's something that's good to know for later if I want to go for a tricky play. Yeah, let's go ahead and just Ultra Ball for nothing, I think. I mean, yeah, there is a Maxie's right there, so yeah, I think the play is to be able to start premonitioning with Gallade. I mean, that was really nice because it allows me to play out, like, that Ultra Ball top deck was beautiful because it allows me to play out my hand completely to where I will be able to Maxie's, and this way I have a way of one-shotting the Carbink that's not Tapu Lele. So yeah, let's get the Gallade, get 5 more cards. That's nice as well. So what I can do is Trainer's Mail, grab the N. Kind of wish I had another Battle Compressor for a VS Seeker. Or for a Darkness Energy. But what I think I'm going to do is just Premonition. There's the Battle Compressor. So let's put that on top. Yeah, let's put that on top. And actually, you know what? My Lele is more than capable of dealing with Carbink on its own. So I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and attack with Gallade this turn. Because, I mean, it's a one-prize attacker. And, I mean, like, Gallade's not overly necessary for this matchup anyway. So, I mean, it's a one-prize attacker that I can just kind of send up there and go prize for prize. Yeah, my one-prize attacker was a lot more resource-intensive than his was. But at the same point, it's still a one-prize attacker that, I mean, worst-case scenario, he knocks me out. And I lose out on my one-prize attacker, and he ends me. It's actually a little bit worse than It's actually kind of bad. On the bright side, he doesn't have any DCEs. Or he has... he doesn't have any DCEs. He's used up 2 DCEs. So what my opponent needs right here is a Joltik and a DCE in order to be able to knock out my Gallade. But at the same time, again, it was just a one-prize attacker, so I'm actually okay with that. And I can always just send up Sudowoodo or Keldeo for that free retreat. And okay, yeah, it looks like my opponent did have double puzzle, which, I mean, hey, that's what you expect out of Night March. You expect them to get double puzzles a couple times. They will, yeah, be able to knock out my Gallade at this point. Honestly, that's fine with me. Gonna go ahead and Acrobike. I mean, my Ghetsis, really, I don't think is gonna be doing much. I'm probably just gonna Sycamore away my hand. We see the Dimension Valley go into the discard pile. Got another Acrobike. So it's when you start chaining Acrobikes that it gets a little bit annoying. It's just like, okay, one card, one card, one card. And they chain into a Trainer's Mail. Please don't get another Acrobike. Okay, Fighting Fury Belt. Ooh, that's bad. My opponent Fighting Fury Belts up the Joltik, it's bad. No, never mind. He Fighting Fury Belted up the Mewtwo. This is perfect. Because Night Spear is going to be able to knock out the Mewtwo and snipe the Joltik. So, yeah, that worked out actually perfectly for me. Gallade will go down, get hit by... Sorry, bumped the desk right there. Get hit by a ton of damage. Sudowoodo comes out. And I top deck a Darkness Energy, so that's really nice. Let's VS Seeker... Or not VS Seeker, Trainer's Mail, grab a Dark Patch. Trainer's Mail again, see if I can get a Battle Compressor, which I do not, unfortunately. So, yeah, darn it. Let's grab another... What do I want to do? Do I want a Sycamore? I think the play is to just play the energy onto the Darkrai and then Ghetsis my opponent's hand, see what they have. They have a DC and a Sycamore. Gets this then out of nothing. So let's play the Choice Band onto probably just Lele. Retreat into my Darkrai, knock out this Mew with Night Spear, and then also the Joltik. That way my opponent is forced to use more resources in order to get something else. I mean, we do know that he has the DCE in his hand for his other Mew, and the Sycamore to be able to draw into more cards, so that just kind of made me sad right there. But I do get a Lysandre. So that's kind of cool. Okay, DC's up to Mewtwo. We knew he would, unless he top decked Joltik, at which point that would make me kind of cry. And then just Sycamore's away a Pumpkin. Oh no, he top decked another Night Marcher to put in the discard pile. That's bad. So at this point, he needs 10 Night Marchers to knock out my Darkrai with Mew. That's the only solace that I'm taking from the fact that my opponent had the perfect low hand. He has 8. Plays down a Joltik. Needs one more. If he Ultra Balls away 2, I'm going to cry. Ultra Balls away 1. What's he going to grab? Ah, the suspense is killing me right now. What is my opponent grabbing? Because if he has another way of discarding cards, and he grabs another Night Marcher, then I am just going to cry, because that'll put me in a really bad position. So he has a Joltik. Does he have another Ultra Ball? No, he does not, and he just Night Marches, leaves me 10 short of dying. Or 20 short of dying. So that is gorgeous. What I'm going to do... Is my Hex Maniac in there? Well, what I wanted to do last turn was Hex Maniac, but I mean, it's obviously not in there because then that would have kept Mew from being able to do anything. So let's Ultra Ball. I want to keep the Dark Patches just for when Darkrai eventually dies. Let's grab... I don't know what to grab. I want to keep Tauros in the deck for Ninja Boy shenanigans. So let's go ahead and just grab Lele. Just as kind of a coverall. And then let's VS Seeker for Ghetsis, I guess. Try to put him a little bit lower. I mean, I would love Hex Maniac right here. I'd absolutely love it. So it's Ghetsis. We get nothing. He has a teammate's DCE and Joltik. Oh man, these hands could literally... I mean, like, okay, so I'm not saying that my opponent's getting lucky because he's obviously playing himself into those hands, but it's just like, such perfect hands. So I do knock out the Mew and the Joltik. I'm one prize away from winning. I don't think there's a way my opponent can really... I don't think there's a way my opponent can come back, because all I have to do is just... I mean, DCE up my, all I have to do is just DCE up my Lele and knock out a Mew to win the game. So, I mean, there's that. So, I really, yeah, I'm in too good of a spot right now. I could always just Lysandre up the Joltik, knock that thing out. Yeah, so, I mean, we know that my opponent does not have an N unless he top decked it, at which point I would be very, very, very sad if my opponent top decked the N. But... I mean, I think we're all good at this point. Like, this matchup against Night March just came down to my Darkrai being able to snipe Mew and Joltik for 2 prizes per turn, which ended up winning us the game. So that was very, very good for us that the matchup went this way. So yeah, I'm just chilling. We see the teammates. That means my opponent cannot end me or anything like that. So... yeah, I don't have to worry about any of those shenanigans, so I will be able to pull off the game at this point if he knocks out... I mean, literally, even if he switches into... the only way he can avoid losing is to switch into Carbink. Is to retreat into Carbink and play a Fighting Fury Belt on Joltik, but my opponent even plays another Joltik as well. So, I mean, yeah, I just win at this point. Mew comes out. I really... yeah, I have all that I need to in order to win the game. I was going to be able to take a couple prizes. Honestly, I normally would check to see what my opponent grabbed, but it does not matter at this point because I do win the game. It just matters how much I want to style at this point. So I'm going to double Dark Patch onto Darkrai. I could Sycamore for that last energy. Let's Lele, see what else is left in the deck. There's the Hex Maniac. Tauros is left in there. So all my Dark Patches are gone. Actually, you know what? I could go for the good play of going for just the Yveltal, going for just the standard play. But you know what? I'm going to go for the style play. I'm going to go for the Ninja Boy into Tauros into Mad Bull GX. Just because, I mean, there's no reason for me not to. Yveltal can win the game. But, I mean, hey, I'm Ninja Boying into Tauros and styling on this 50 HP Mew by hitting it for 360 damage and winning the game off that. And my Shaymin was even prized too, so yeah, there was that as well. Do win that game. Tauros able to come through clutch in the end, and even though Darkrai was clearly the MVP, because Tauros did the most damage with that one Mad Bull GX attack, the game decided that it was the MVP. So Darkrai, we all know that you're the real MVP. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.